Well, all right. My name is Tyler Edwards. This is my first time doing something like this. But today I'll be doing my first ever movie review. Now, those of you that know me, you've seen me do little posts here and there over the last few years of me kind of rating a movie or kind of giving my thoughts and opinions on movies. But today I wanted to start with actually reviewing movies. It's something that I've talked about doing for a long time and I never really got to until today. So today we will be discussing, or I guess I will be discussing, Wonder Woman 84 or Wonder Woman 1984, whichever you prefer to call it. So Wonder Woman 84 stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Pedro Pascal, and Kristen Wiig. Sorry, I was blanking on her name, and Kristen Wiig. It's directed by, I think it's directed and written by Patty Jenkins, or is it just directed by Patty Jenkins? Either way, let's get into the bulk of this movie. Okay, so to start off this review, I'm going to go over what I consider to be the good of the movie. I will say, I feel like everybody, all the actors or the main stars, I thought they did a good job. I thought they brought, their A game. Like when I watched Gal Gadot, I wasn't thinking this is Gal Gadot playing. I was like, that's Wonder Woman. I'm seeing Wonder Woman on the screen. And I don't know too much about Wonder Woman lore, but I know a little bit where I was like, oh my God, that's Wonder Woman. Like, and I was really excited. And there was a large chunk of this movie where just watching her on screen, I had this kind of goofy grin on my face. Now, again, that could be because this is the only superhero film I've watched this entire year. I mean, a new superhero film. Not just a superhero film, but a new one. And it was quite exciting for me to see one again. And I think, I don't know, I loved seeing Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. It's honestly one of my favorite things, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe how they rewritten her in Justice League. But so far, I think this is Gal Gadot's. I think this, if Wonder Woman might be her best, but this might be her second best performance as Wonder Woman, or she might be better than Wonder Woman. I don't know. Those Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84 in terms of her performance are kind of neck and neck, and it just depends. I'll have to rewatch both and kind of arrive at an opinion there. Moving on to Chris Pine. I'm glad they brought back Steve Trevor in a way. I don't know. I was kind of confused, though, as to what they would do. But we'll get more. I have some issues with how they brought him back, but we'll get into that section later when I'm talking about kind of the negatives of this film. But right now, I'm just focused on the good and what time he spent in the movie and the chemistry he has with Gal Gadot. I thought it was great. I thought they have great chemistry together, and I thought they did a great job. Those two actors did a really good job together. Moving on to Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. It's not bad. The performance wasn't bad. It was a little hammy and a little over the top, but not too much. It was teetering on the edge of Jim Carrey as the Riddler, but not too bad as Jamie Foxx as Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think Kristen Wiig did a good job portraying Cheetah before she became Cheetah. I think she did a good job portraying this kind of timid nature and wanting to be better. And I think she also did a good job portraying this kind of more charismatic version of this character that was once kind of nerdy. But I think she did a better job at it than Jim Carrey as the Riddler in Batman Forever. I think she did a great job at that. But again, we'll get into another nitpick of my thought of her character later in the negatives. Now, kind of the last positive in terms of the performances I can give is Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord, the main villain of the film. I think Pedro Pascal did a great job as this kind of burnout kind of a guy. He plays this businessman that wants to, he wants to do better for his son. He wants to be seen as this like powerful guy. And I think for what they do with this character throughout the film, it is kind of cartoonish. The plot of this is kind of cartoonish. But I think Pedro Pascal does a good job with what he's given. And I think this is a fun performance from him. You know, it is a little campy, but I'm willing to look past that. I thought it was a good performance. Now, the next thing I want to talk about will probably be the negatives of the film. So, So, the negatives. I will say, while watching this movie, about halfway through, I'm thinking, what's the main plot of this movie? Is it focusing on Pedro Pascal and this kind of wish stone and this kind of him taking the power of this wish stone, and every time he grants somebody a wish, he's decaying? Like, is he the main plot? Like, is that the main plot thread, or is it Cheetah devolving into Cheetah and that whole subplot, or is it Steve Trevor's back and we got to introduce him to the 80s, or is it Diana and learning that truth is all, and and truth is the only key or something? I will say that was the one thing, like, I thought halfway through this, I was like, this movie seems kind of laissez-faire. It seems kind of lazy. It seems very, it just felt like the movie was kind of teetering along. Like, it just kind of felt like it was like, well, we gotta have a Wonder Woman movie. And I do think the pacing of the movie kind of hindered that, but I don't know. I just thought that it was kind of, I don't know. I think the pacing was off. The CGI, at the end of the movie, Wonder Woman fights Cheetah, and Cheetah now looks like Cheetah. And the CGI was awful. I think Warner Brothers needs to go back and rehire or hire some new CGI team, because the Cheetah, like, they had the fight at night between Wonder Woman and Cheetah, and no wonder, because Cheetah looked rough. It looked rubbery. It looked bad. The makeup on Kristen Wiig didn't look good, and I didn't really buy at that moment that was Kristen Wiig. I bought Kristen Wiig's performance up until her actually becoming Cheetah. That part felt the strangest to me, because I thought, out of everything, I don't know, I knew that was where they were going to go with the character, but golly, that was horrible CGI. Another thing with the CGI is, like, there's a moment where Wonder Woman, she lassos a plane in the sky, and that looks bad. Or, like, there's some moments where, like, she's fighting and there's a close-up of her and you can tell the background behind her is fake. Or, like, it's so glaring how bad these special effects are. And I was kind of disheartened by it, because some of the CGI, it would take me out of the movie. I'd be like, ugh. Like, I would be like, oh, you're so close. You had like a few more months to kind of, fix that face, or fix the way the body moves, and fix the way that, the sky looks, or some of these little details look. It'd be great. But no, the CGI was just, it's something that kind of took me out of the movie, and it wasn't great. Steve Trevor, how they brought back Steve Trevor was kind of weird. How they did it was, it's Steve Trevor, but he doesn't look like Steve Trevor. He possesses a body of, his spirit, I guess, possessed the body of some other guy that on the outside doesn't look like Steve Trevor, but to Gal Gadot, to Wonder Woman, whenever she looks at him, it's Chris Pine. So every time she looks at Steve Trevor, it's Chris Pine. We see Chris Pine through the whole movie. But there's a few times where they're like, you look at this guy in the mirror and it's this kind of, this other handsome looking dude. And then at the very end of the movie, it's kind of schmaltzy. It did seem very Hallmark-esque, the way the movie ended, which I didn't really like, was her kind of like, it's Christmas, she's kind of like, And then the guy is just kind of standing next to her awkwardly, wearing the outfit that Steve Trevor didn't like, but she thought looked good on him. And he was like, yeah, my friends bully me for wearing this outfit. And she's like, I think it looks very good. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Wonder Woman sounds. And she's like, it looks very good. And he's like, thanks. And it's just, they're I don't know. It was awkward because it looked like he was waiting for her to say a line, and then the awkward pause, and he'd say a line. And then another awkward pause, and then she'd say her line. I don't know. I think they might have had, like, we have half a day to film this scene. we need to do it as quickly as possible. And that's how it kind of felt for me. But yeah, no, I think that'll cover it for all the negatives. And now we'll get on to my final verdict. So coming on to my final verdict, I will say this about Wonder Woman 84. I think the performances were great. I think it was a fun experience to watch this movie. I wish I saw it on the big screen. However, I saw it on my little 28-inch TV in my bedroom. But I thought it was a fun movie, though I think the special effects were really bad, and I think the story and the pacing hindered the movie. I think the story was okay, but the pacing, it really felt like it was slow. It was like it would go, it had momentum, but then it would slow down. And I think that, I don't know, I think it is a good movie, but it is not a great movie. In terms of superhero films, it's nice to finally get one after a year of craziness and a year of COVID, and I'm glad that I finally got to see a new superhero film, and I'm glad it was Wonder Woman 84. I don't regret watching this movie, and I get why some people have gripes with this movie, but I think some people also are a little too critical of this film. For me, I thought it was just a fun ride, and to see all these other people kind of tear it down, for me, I was like, really? This movie? Okay. I mean, I think there are worse movies out there, but overall, if I had to give this movie a rating, I'd say I'd give it maybe a 6 out of 10. Actually, 7 out of 10. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think because there's more good that outweighs the bad. I think it's a fun movie. I definitely say check it out if you have HBO Max, or if not, wait until it comes out on DVD if you don't want to risk getting COVID and going to a theater. So wait until it comes out on DVD, or try to rent it on demand, or if you have HBO Max, watch it for free. But anyways, that was my review of Wonder Woman 84. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate it. If you get a chance, just check out my Insta page at It's Tyler Edwards. And it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.